on the couch.
If you haven't seen the first part yet, the link is in the description. Watch part 1 after watching this. The story starts, and so far, we saw how Art had killed Tara and Dawn, and at the end, he had also disfigured Tara's sister, Victoria's face. But just in time, the police arrived and saved Victoria, while Art, seeing the cops, shot himself in the head. His body was sent to the morgue, but somehow he came back to life. As soon as Art wakes up, he mercilessly kills a doctor. After that, he packs all his tools into a bag and leaves the place. Next, he goes straight to a laundromat, takes off all his clothes, and puts them into the washing machine. While reading the newspaper headlines, he starts laughing. That's when he sees a little girl behind him, just as terrifying as him. Art befriends her, and they start playing together. A man sitting nearby notices that Art is playing alone, because the girl is actually a spirit and only visible to Art. After putting on his washed clothes, Art leaves the place, but before going, he kills the man sitting there. The story now jumps 1 year ahead, where we see a girl named Sienna preparing her costume for Halloween. This dress was designed by her dad, who recently died in a car accident. After that, we see Sienna's younger brother Jonathan and their mother Barbara having dinner together. During dinner, Jonathan says that he's planning to dress up like Art the Clown for Halloween. Hearing this, both Sienna and Barbara get angry, because just last year, Art had killed 9 people, so dressing up like him is very inappropriate. Then, Jonathan goes to his room and starts researching more about Art. He also had a diary belonging to his dad that was full of news clippings and sketches about the murders committed by Art. Meanwhile, Sienna talks to her mother about Jonathan, saying that he's losing his mind. But Barbara tells her that he's just a kid who lost his father, and it's normal for children to act out at this age, so there's nothing to worry about. Later, Sienna finishes making her costume and goes to sleep. But the advertisement playing on her TV starts appearing in her dream. In the ad, many people are singing and dancing. A kid is eating cereal, but it's full of insects and blades, and it contains a beating heart. The people there seem very happy to see Art, but suddenly, Art pulls out a machine gun and starts shooting everyone, and even sets a girl on fire who starts dancing while burning. Now only Sienna is left alive. She reaches into the cereal box and finds the same sword that was kept in her room. Using that sword, Sienna manages to stop Art's fire, and immediately after that, she wakes up. But just like in the dream, a real fire had started in her room, and the wings of her costume had started to burn. Then Sienna's mom comes in and puts out the fire. She scolds Sienna harshly because she thought Sienna had fallen asleep without blowing out the candles, which caused the fire in the room. Sienna comes and sees that her wings were burnt, but the sword remained untouched. This sword had been gifted to her by her dad. On the other hand, we see Art preparing for Halloween in his own twisted way and crafting a new weapon for himself. Just then, that girl turns on the TV, and the same interview we saw in the previous part is playing. Seeing Victoria's messed up face, Art starts laughing. But when Victoria says that Art died right in front of her eyes, it makes Art angry, and he smashes the TV. Meanwhile, at Jonathan's school, 2 kids call him over and show him a dead animal that had maggots on it. Then they call Jonathan's crush and show her the animal too, which scares her. All 3 of them get scolded by the teacher. After this, Jonathan is in class, where his crush is now upset with him. When he goes out to drink water, he sees the same clown girl passing by. Jonathan follows her and sees that Art and the girl are playing with that same dead animal. Suddenly, Art throws the animal at Jonathan, and its blood stains his clothes. Terrified, Jonathan runs away but bumps into a teacher in the hallway. Jonathan escapes, but the teacher sees the dead animal and Jonathan gets suspended from school because they think he's the one who brought it. Meanwhile, Sienna is having lunch with her best friends, Allie and Brooke. Brooke tells them about Victoria's interview and how Victoria disfigured the host, Monica's face. Brooke is explaining everything in too much detail, which makes Sienna feel sick. Back at Jonathan's house, he arrives to find an officer there asking about the dead animal. Hearing this, His mom gets very angry and tells Jonathan to go to his room. Jonathan tries to tell her the truth, but she doesn't listen to him at all. Meanwhile, Sienna goes with Allie to a shop to get new wings, where Allie bumps into Art. Sienna was also trying on her wings, but then she saw Art, who was staring at her while flashing his light. Sienna gets scared seeing him and goes to the counter to pay for the wings so that she can leave quickly. But she had forgotten her bag behind, which Art brings over and hands to her. Sienna starts paying, and Art, trying to act funny, starts showing her different sunglasses he puts on. Then he comes close to Sienna and starts blowing a horn in her ear, because of which the employee at the counter scolds Art. Sienna leaves from there, and Art wants to buy that horn. When the employee asks him for money, Art pulls out a bunch of weapons and some loose change from his bag. Seeing all this, the employee gets angry, so Art smashes a bottle on his head and then slits his throat with a knife. Sienna tells her friend that she saw Art the clown, but Allie says that today is Halloween, so it must just be someone dressed up as him. Anyway, after reaching home, Sienna goes to Jonathan, and he tells her that today at school he saw Art along with a girl who was murdered a few years ago, and her article was in their dad's book. That same article also had a sketch of Art's face. And not only that, the book also had sketches of all of Art's victims, meaning their dad definitely knew something about Art. In that book, there was also a girl holding a demon's severed head in her hands, and according to Jonathan, that girl is Sienna. Actually, their dad had a brain tumor, because of which he used to see strange things, and he used to draw all of it in that book. Just then, their mom comes in and tells Sienna about the incident that happened at school today. Jonathan says that all of it was done by Art, but their mother insists that there's no such thing as Art. It's just that Jonathan is losing his mind. Jonathan tries to stop Sienna from going to the Halloween party tonight, but she doesn't listen to him. On the other side, we see Allie, outside whose house a van was parked, and inside it was the same clown girl sitting. Just then, Art also comes to her door asking for a treat. Allie compliments his costume and makeup a lot, but she refuses to give him any candies because candies are only for kids. When Art insists, Allie throws candy at his face. She also notices the weapons in his bag and gets scared, quickly shutting the door. After that, Art leaves. Allie then calls Sienna, but Sienna doesn't pick up because she was watching the news. However, the news anchor suddenly mentions Sienna's name. Sienna thinks it's just her imagination, so she takes her pills and goes to sleep. Later at night, she puts on her costume, in which she looks like an angel, and calls Allie. But this time, Allie doesn't answer because someone had broken into her house, and it was none other than Art. He was roaming around her house like it was his own. First, he goes to the kitchen to drink water, and then runs after Allie to kill her. Allie runs into her room, but in the end, Art catches her and gives her a very brutal death. Seeing the broken door, someone gets scared and rushes to Allie's room, and is shocked to see the scene, because Art had chopped Allie into pieces. After killing Allie, Art also murders her mother. Later, when kids come to Allie's house for trick-or-treating, Art comes outside holding Allie's mother's severed head, which is filled with candies. On the other side, we see Brooke watching Night of the Living Dead on TV. At the same time, Sienna, wearing her costume, arrives to say goodbye to her mom before heading to the Halloween party. There, she meets Brooke and Brooke's boyfriend Jeff. Meanwhile, Brooke goes to Jonathan's room to check on him and apologizes to him for not letting him attend the Halloween festival. But during the conversation they start fighting again, and Brooke tears up his dad's book. This makes Jonathan furious, and he runs away from home in anger. After a while, Barb hears some noises coming from the garage. When she goes to check, she sees that someone has completely messed up her car. She suspects that Jonathan might be behind it. She tells Sienna about Jonathan's behavior, after which she starts cleaning her car. But as soon as she wipes the car window, she sees Art sitting inside, who then blows Barb's head off with a shotgun. Meanwhile, Jonathan, while running, finds a truck in which the same girl is sitting, whom he had seen earlier. Seeing her, he turns back and returns home. When he arrives, he sees his mother's dead body sitting on a chair, and Art is forcefully stuffing food into her mouth. Then Art catches Jonathan too, injects him with something to make him unconscious, and also picks up the sword. On the other hand, Sienna is enjoying the party, but in the middle of it, she sees the same ghostly girl, which makes her scream loudly. As a result, all three of them have to leave the party. Brooke is dropping Sienna off at her home, but that clown girl calls Sienna, using Jonathan's voice, and tells her that he's trapped in a carnival and asks her to come get him. In the next moment, all three reach the carnival, and Sienna goes to search for her brother alone. The clown girl messages Sienna and lures her into a haunted house called the Terrifier. We also see Jonathan there, who has regained consciousness, with the clown girl sitting beside him. She starts violently cutting her own face, frightening Jonathan, who then runs away. Meanwhile, Brooke's boyfriend steps out of the car to relieve himself, but Art stabs him multiple times and severs his private parts. Then he attacks Brooke too, but she somehow escapes and reaches the bathroom. The walls of the bathroom are splattered with blood. Soon, Art arrives there and tries to scare Brooke by showing her his weapon, but then he throws acid on her face. He then kills her and pulls out her heart to eat it. At that moment, Sienna also arrives and upon seeing Brooke's dead body, starts crying. Art is standing there, and behind him, Jonathan too. Sienna tells Jonathan to run away from there and begins attacking Art herself. But Art keeps slamming her repeatedly until she faints on the spot. Meanwhile, Jonathan can't find a way out, so Art catches him again and slashes his face multiple times. Just in time, Sienna arrives and hits Art on the head with the weapon she made. Now both siblings try to escape, but they get lost in the place. Art finds Jonathan and starts beating him with a chain. When Sienna comes to save him, Art beats her up too. After getting beaten up by Art for quite a while, Sienna snatches the chain from him and starts hitting him back. Finally, she shoves an iron rod into Art's face. But even then, Art is still alive and starts choking Sienna, so Jonathan grabs Art's gun and shoots him. Suddenly, Sienna sees her mother, but it turns out to be the clown girl. That's when Sienna realizes that her mother is actually dead. When she regains consciousness, she finds out that Art had knocked Jonathan unconscious. When she goes to fight him again, he pushes her into the basement. Art then picks up the same sword and stabs Sienna in the stomach. He throws her into a pit, and falling into it, she ends up in that same dream world again. But this time, she is locked inside a water-filled container. She tries to escape, but due to lack of oxygen, she begins to suffocate. Meanwhile, Art is eating Jonathan's hand. Jonathan regains consciousness and screams after seeing Art. That scream causes the sword to glow, and some kind of power emerges from it. That power heals Sienna's wounds on its own, and she comes back to life and immediately escapes from the container. Once out, she uses the same sword to slash Art's throat and finally kills him. The brother and sister console each other, and just then, the clown girl shows up. She simply picks up Art's severed head and walks away. In the next scene, we see Victoria, who is locked up in a mental asylum. WWE superstar Chris Jericho appears in a cameo as a security guard there. Victoria is pregnant and starts going into labor in her room. Hearing her cries, a nurse comes to check on her, only to scream in horror when she sees Victoria. Because Victoria had given birth to Art's head, and with that, the movie ends here. Let me know your thoughts. Also tell me if you want part 3 of this or not. Subscribe to this channel for more slasher stories like this.